Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. We have made it through another week. We're all very excited. Oktoberfest is right after work, so nice. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Gerard on the agriculture beat talking vet techs.
All right, well, let me put the barley beverages away for this one. It's Veterinary Technologist Month right across Canada. One barley too many already. And yeah, we'll talk all about it when we get to our ag story. Pretty much. All right.
Well, we look forward to that. And Elise always on the ag, or not agriculture.
I don't
okay, we're already on weekend mode. Sports and news, and a couple teams have big games this weekend.
Yep, Bandits action this weekend, so we're going to be talking about that, and then also the football games happening tonight. The big game.
Much better weather than they had for the last game, that's for sure. All right, well, we're going to toss it over to Brittany and see where she's at tonight.
If you're out and about today, you'll notice that out in stores and at various other locations in Lloydminster, the poppies have made their appearance again. Now today marks the first day of Poppy Week, which the city of Lloydminster has proclaimed. It runs all the way now through until November 11th. So we're going to have a little bit more coming up later on in the show, talking with Mayor Albers and a member from our Legion here in Lloydminster. But right now, we're unfortunately out of time, and we're going to head back to the studio and check in with them to find out what's going on in local news.
The rotating Canada Post strikes are impacting two new cities today. Workers shifted their walkouts to Sudbury, Ontario and St. John, New Brunswick just after midnight. The Postal Workers Union and Canada Post haven't been able to reach a new collective agreement after 10 months of negotiations. The union says it's been left with no choice but to strike, and Canada Post says it's already made significant offers to the union and has not asked for any concessions. The Border City Connects caravan has been helping Lloydminster residents travel to and from non-emergency medical appointments as far west as Edmonton and as far east as Saskatoon. And soon they will be starting a trial project to help assist those living in smaller communities. Michaela Henschel has more.
Angie Matson has been traveling from Lashburn to Saskatoon 3 times a week to receive dialysis. She's been depending on family and friends to help drive her to and from life-sustaining treatment. And she's thrilled that Border City Connects will soon be able to help her.
Absolutely amazing. I'm so excited and pleased because I think it's going to help a lot of people, and I hope that this brings awareness so people in the area know that they can contact Caravan now. They know that they can have help and services to get to their appointments.
With 4 vans in the fleet and an entirely volunteer-based program, the medical transport vans will hopefully be picking up in smaller communities soon. Glenn Fagnan from Border City Connect says it was MLA Dr. Richard Starkey who got the ball rolling.
Richard had some concerns from some of his constituents, and so we, at our last board meeting, we're doing a pilot project here. So we're going to be picking up people in Kitscoty and Vermilion, and for those going east, we're going to be picking them up in Lashburn, Maidstone, as well as Marshall.
One of the key limiting factors for rural residents is transportation. That our medical system is such that it requires patients to go to care facilities in larger centers, and for some people that can be a barrier to receiving adequate care.
And with the departure of Greyhound services next week, Border City Connects is hoping it can step in and fill a gap in services. Although they operate solely on a donation basis, Matson wants to be an advocate for more help.
There's lots of people in need of this, and it's a great cause to donate to. I also really challenge the governments, the Alberta and Saskatchewan governments, to start helping fund projects like this.
Michaela Henschel, Primetime Local News.
The Lloydminster Social Action Coalition Society is bringing a fantastic one-woman show to the Border City this November. Bonnie Kilroe's Celebrity Imposters will be at the Legacy Center on November 24th to raise money for the 2nd annual Heroes for the Hungry. The one-woman show features her comedic and performance abilities as she impersonates a variety of well-known divas.
So this is our 2nd annual Heroes for the Hungry. We started last year and we had a sellout event with a dinner and entertainment. It was fantastic. We thought we need to do it again this year.
Proceeds raised will go to the Social Action Coalition Society to support daily operations of the men's shelter. Tickets for the event are available through the shelter. And the 18th annual House of Paws Dinner Theater is back this year, and the show might get a glimpse at Davy Jones's locker. This year's pirate-themed show will donate all of the funds to the SPCA, but will go towards a new cause.
The dinner theater is to raise awareness for the SPCA, and they helped raise money. Previously, the money went to our operating budget, but it is now going towards a new building.
The show goes on from November 28th until December 1st at the Kitscoty Community Hall, and the House of Paws say they are excited to start the unique show.
We make people sing that don't sing. We make people dance that can't dance. We throw in local flavor. If you buy a table, if we like you, we're going to pick on you.
Tickets are $70 each, and they can be purchased at Mel's Hair Shop. And now we're going to head back to Brittany, who is at City Hall today.
Mayor Albers joins me now, and we just witnessed the proclamation of a very exciting week. Poppy Week is being noticed by the city. Why is this something that the city of Lloydminster wanted to put forward and really get people to pay attention?
So I believe it started with the Canadian Royal Legion here in town, Branch 39. They have come to the city and asked for a proclamation, which we do support. I believe out of all the celebrations in our city throughout the year, the most important one is Remembrance Day by all means. Without Remembrance Day, to remember what happened. And it's 100 years. I think that's the important thing to realize. It's 100 years since the armistice was signed on November 11th, 1918. And this is an opportunity to help raise that awareness through the schools, through the public, for everyone. And I hope people take time on November 11th to remember.
So what else are we doing to help identify this as Poppy Week?
Well, I believe the Royal Canadian Legion will have the Air Cadets out through their support, raising it. You'll be able to read my article Monday that comes out through one of the local papers that from the perspective of reminding people that we need to take time to reflect, and that's what we're hoping people do.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mayor Albers. We are going to have more from him coming up later on in the show, as well as speaking to a member from our Legion here locally. But right now, we're going to head back over to the studio and check in with them to find out what's going on.
Thanks so much, Brittany. Here in the border city, we have dropped quite a bit, currently sitting at 4 degrees here in the border city. Way there. As we look to our satellite radar, there we go. Here's some patches of precipitation and some clouds. Now this could come into effect starting at midnight in the Lloydminster area here. So could be seeing some of that precipitation around the midnight hour or into the overnights. No watches and warnings in effect currently, but we could be seeing some strong gusts of wind tomorrow afternoon. Looking at the numbers currently, though, we are sitting at 4 degrees, so we have already dropped quite a bit. We were sitting at 10 earlier and 7 degrees when we started the broadcast, so we have gone down quite a bit already. 10 degrees currently in Edmonton, 10 in Red Deer, 13 in Rocky Mountain House. A little bit cooler as we get into the mountains, so 5 degrees in Jasper, 7 degrees in Edson, and over on the Saskatchewan side, 6 degrees for North Battleford, 6 for Saskatoon, cool 1 degree in Melfort, and 3 degrees for Prince Albert. As we look to our numbers here in the broadcast area, 6 degrees in North Battleford. They were also sitting at 10 degrees, so they've already dropped 4 degrees there. Overnight, they could also see some of that rain coming around midnight, and overnight 0 degrees there, and then 11 degrees tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds. Currently in Cold Lake, 7 degrees, dropping down to 1 degree, and those clouds are going to roll in, and then tomorrow a high of 9 degrees. Currently 4 degrees here in the border city, 1 degree overnight, and the possibility of some showers around midnight. Tomorrow we're going to reach a daytime high of 10 degrees, but we could see some strong gusts of wind around the noon hour, up to 60 km per hour. And then Sunday, lots of rain, 50% chance there, 6 degrees. And then Monday, 25% chance of rain, and we are going to have some cloud cover and only 4 degrees. So we're going back into those seasonal numbers. I'll have more details for you coming up later in the show.
Welcome back. It's Registered Veterinary Technologist Month across Canada. I had the chance to meet with one vet tech who is celebrating a decade of commitment to our furry friends.
This little guy is at the hospital for teeth cleaning and polishing, just one of the many duties of a veterinary technician.
It takes 2 years of college. Lakeland, Olds, there's various places that you can go to school for. I went to Lakeland College in Vermilion here and really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. Farm atmosphere.
Vet techs are more than just the support staff. Bobby Hebson-Schweitzer speaks about the challenges to get the lab work spot on.
You can look at cattle blood work, horse blood work, dogs, cats. Every cell is different between each species under the microscope. So looking at all those different cells, even between their urine and stuff like that.
Those skills are tested occasionally, as sometimes a visual inspection is needed. The collaborative work of the staff at the Lloydminster Animal Hospital is being recognized with this accolade and painting on the wall.
It takes a team. You know, there's a lot of us, you know, from the vets to the techs and the helpers that we have around our clinic as well. So it's definitely a team effort.
Bobby says there are multiple avenues that a young person can take with their college training.
Just different varieties of jobs. It's not necessarily a vet clinic that techs can end up working in. They can work at zoos, you know, after years of experience. You can work at feedlots, wildlife and fisheries and stuff like that.
And no matter the procedure, it's always great when the patient leaves happy with the visit.
She gave me a wink. Look
Oh,
at
did
this.
she wink?
Yes. It's precious. Yeah, that wink certainly made my day indeed. Well, that's our agriculture news in this round. Elise checks in with sports. Let's have a look at those ag prices.
Every member of the City Centre Auto Body team has been through extensive training. We're constantly upgrading our team's education to reflect current collision repair technique.
Taking a look into sports now, heading into Halloween next week, the Lloydminster Bandits were looking for a strong effort in back-to-back home games, and going into tonight's showdown with Lac La Biche, they're halfway to accomplishing that goal. Josh Ryan has more.
The Bandits remain undefeated at home after outshooting the Vermilion Tigers 5-2 on Thursday night. A great start to a 4-game homestand.
Last weekend we had a rough outing in Lac La Biche, so we knew we had to come out strong, and we took it to them.
The visitors controlled play throughout the penalty-filled first period, but Lloydminster's special teams and goaltender Danton Brooks kept the game scoreless.
They didn't really have much traffic. I saw a lot of pucks, so I got to give our PK credit for that. We have a really good PK this year, and we wanted to keep it that way.
Head coach Ryan Early was happy with the effort after a rough outing in Lac La Biche a week ago, as the squad improves to 5-3 on the season.
We're progressing, trending upwards, so yeah, pretty happy with that.
The evening was made even more enjoyable by the Bandits hosting their first college night, as more than 200 Lakeland College students took advantage of the discount.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We don't usually get crowds like that. Hopefully the boys can get on a roll and we can keep that kind of crowd up like that.
Now the attention is back on Lac La Biche and improving on the 9-4 loss from a week ago.
We lacked our secondary effort up there. We get on top of that, and I think we'll be successful.
Josh Ryan, Primetime Local Sports.
And we're going to throw it back to Brittany, who is at City Hall.
Mayor Albers joins me again at City Hall, and we were just discussing off camera that he actually has a personal connection to Remembrance Day, and one that's very dear to your heart.
Two pieces, actually. My grandfather fought in the First World War as a member of the Dutch Army, and my dad and my grandfather and family were survivors of the Second World War in occupied Holland, so it means a lot to our family from that perspective.
And here in Lloydminster, we have a number of veterans who are living in our community.
Absolutely, absolutely. We continue to have young veterans, if I can use that term, members of the Canadian Forces that have retired and gone on to full-time careers here in the city, started their own business. So we have members that have served in the Second World War, from the Korean conflict, and served in UN peacekeeping missions and other duties that were called on in the Canadian Forces in the past, right through to people who have just left the service in the last little while. And we even have reservists in our community, which is a great thing.
And we did have an exhibit that was at the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Centre, the Fighting in Flanders exhibit, which I know you saw. Can you share with our viewers at home what that was?
Well, it was a great exhibit. It helped to bring World War I to our community in the form of being able to see it and to almost touch it. So I think until someone has had a chance, and I had the fortunate opportunity to visit Vimy Ridge and see the trenches, what we saw with Fighting in Flanders gave people an idea of what was really like, just in a close-up pictures. And pictures only do so much justice.
That's definitely true. Well, thank you so much for joining us today here at Mayor Albert's. And it is Poppy Week, so make sure that we are getting our poppies out. You will see those donation bins out in the community. We want you to wear them proudly. Unfortunately, we're out of time right now, so we are going to have to head back over to the studio and check in with them to find out what's going on.
All right, thank you, Brittany. Starting off this weather segment with this gorgeous fall shot sent to us by Becky. Look at those leaves. Gorgeous, and it's so nice that we're still able to get those fall shots out there while the temperatures are nice. As we look to our current temperatures now, sitting at 4 degrees here in the border city. We did reach 10 degrees earlier. We were sitting at 7 when we started the broadcast, so we are dropping already. 8 degrees in Vermilion, that's the same number in Vegreville. A little bit warmer at 10 in Edmonton. Then as we move south, 10 degrees in Wainwright, 9 in Provost and Macklin. And then as we move up the map, 7 degrees in St. Paul, 7 in Bonnyville, 7 in Cold Lake, and a little bit warmer, 8 degrees up in Lac La Biche. Over on the Saskatchewan side, 8 degrees in Maidstone, 5 in St. Walburg, 7 in Meadow Lake, and 6 degrees in North Battleford. As we look up north, these numbers are quite a bit cooler than they are here, and then especially in contrast to down south. So 7 degrees for Buffalo Narrows, 0 degrees for La Ronge, -1 for Flin Flon, already in the minuses there. And then over in the Alberta side, 3 degrees in Grand Prairie, a little bit warmer, 4 degrees in Peace River, 8 in High Level, 5 in Slave Lake, and 7 degrees in Fort McMurray. Now as we look down south, look at these numbers though, still in the double digits for Lethbridge, sitting at 14, 12 degrees for Medicine Hat, 14 in Calgary, 7 in Coronation, 5 degrees in Banff. And then over on the Sask side here, sitting at 9 degrees in Swift, currently 8 degrees in Moose Jaw, 8 degrees in Estevan. And as we look to our numbers tomorrow, we are going to start to see a bit of a cooler trend as we move into the week. So 10 degrees tomorrow for our daytime high here in the border city. We could see some rain overnight and strong gusts of wind tomorrow afternoon. 9 degrees for Vermilion, 11 for Vegreville, 10 for Edmonton, 11 for Provost and Macklin. And then over on the Saskatchewan side here, 11 degrees tomorrow for North Battleford, 9 degrees for St. Walburg, and 8 degrees for Meadow Lake. As we look to our 7-day forecast, so we could see some patches of rain starting at around midnight tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to reach a daytime high of 10 degrees. Sunday, 50% chance of a rain-snow mix. This could be into the evening hours, so that precipitation should hold off until at least the evening. -3 for the low. Monday, 25% chance we are going to see more cloud cover. 4 degrees there, and then -2 for the low. Tuesday, 4 degrees, and then Wednesday, no snow, but 3 degrees, so you are still going to want to bundle up for those trick-or-treaters out there on Halloween. 2 degrees on Thursday with a 60% chance we could see some flurry action, and then Friday, a rain-snow mix, 56% chance there, and 2 degrees for the daytime high. So tomorrow, just keep in mind that we are going to be getting some wind gusts up to 60 km per hour, so hold on to your hats for the weekend.
Now we're going to toss it back to Brittany, who is at City Hall today.
Rick Mallett joins me now from the Royal Canadian Legion, number 39. He just participated in the Poppy Week ceremony, the proclamation that was done by Mayor Albers. Now let's share with our viewers at home, why are we wearing a poppy?
To show your respect for your fallen comrades and all that gave their lives for this country. It's a very important tribute to serve them.
It certainly is. And now last year you said we had 60,000 poppies that went out in Lloydminster, and there is, poppies just went out today.
Right, yeah, we just started putting them in the businesses today. We will get them to all the schools first thing next week, because on the 9th pretty much is the day that we have about 10 schools in the morning that we do service for, and then seniors' homes in the afternoon. prior to the 11th. So.
And now on November 11th, there is going to be a ceremony. Share with our viewers at home, they do need to get there a little bit early.
Yes, the ceremony is as usual at the Comp in the J.J. Giesbrecht Auditorium. We start promptly at 10:45, so we would encourage you to be in your seats by 10:30. And it does fill up fast because of all the young kids and stuff, for the guides, Cubs, Brownies, all the organizations in Lloyd, right, take up a lot of seats too. So, but it's good to have all those kids out and learn what it is all about. So.
Definitely. Well, thank you for sharing all that information with us, Rick. So make sure you get out there and get your poppy to show support for our veterans. And remember that on November 11th, there will be the ceremony going on at the Lloyd Comp. And to make sure you do get there early to ensure that you do have a seat and the ceremony gets started on time. Well, thanks again so much, Rick, for sharing all that information with us. And we're going to have more coming up a little bit later on in the show. But right now, we're going to head back over to the studio and check in with them to find out what's going on.
All right, well, just in time for the weekend when a lot of us will be doing some sleeping in. We wanted to know about your sleeping. What do you mean why? Because it's the best.
We don't have to
thing
go to
ever.
work. That's why.
Get out and have some fun here.
Sleeping is fun. I'd rather sleep. Yeah, I sleep on the weekends. I can sleep up to 26 hours. I know I'm probably oversleeping, but we wanted to know how many hours on average do you sleep? Terry says 7 hours on average. And then Sarah says her son wakes up 2 to 6 times a night still, so she's only getting about 6 hours. And then we had a comment saying 30 to 90 minutes. What? I don't know how you survive, Gavin. What about you, Elise? How many hours a night are you?
I'm a big sleeper. Like, I like to get like a good 8 hours.
At least.
Yeah.
I start to panic if I know I'm going to get less than 8 hours.
Absolutely. Can you guys bank that sleep and maybe lend it out to folks like us who only do 4 hours?
I could not
you can lend it out
on that little of sleep. Sherry on our Facebook page says 3 to 4 hours only. And then we did put out a poll. 93% of you say you get 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So we're not doing too bad, Lloydminster. We're not doing too bad. So,
everyone's sleeping. That's good.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, we're all well rested, it seems like. But right now we're going to go to my favorite part of the show. It's the pets of the day, and we will be announcing this week's winner at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned. Let's take a look at some of those pets. This is Juno, really cute.
He's getting his sleep too.
Yeah, Juno loves to sleep as
Juno's
well.
sleeping.
Yeah, I think I was meant to be a cat.
Sleeping Juno.
This is Belinda, that was sent to us by Belinda. This one was sent by Shanna, and this is Lacey, really adorable dog right there. I like the hair around the face. We also have Odin, Fergie, and Tank. Great shot of the trio sleeping there. That was sent to us by Tara. Next up, we have Sadie, very adorable puppy there. That was sent to us by Shelly. And then last, but of course certainly not least, this is Piper, and he's ready for a weekend vacation. That was sent to us by Kaylee. And like I said, we will be announcing this week's winner at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned. And if you aren't the winner, you can continue to submit photos. We make a draw every week.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
All right, I am now joined with singer-songwriter extraordinaire Sam Lundell. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So you're a singer-songwriter, kind of born and raised in the Lloydminster area. Pretty much everyone already knows you at this point. But let's kind of start from the beginning. How did you get into music?
Well, I had a brother who, when he was 16, sang at Carnegie Hall with his jazz choir. And so I grew up just sitting at a piano bench with him, and my mom's side of the family grew up like singing gospel stuff and like tons of harmonies all the time around the house. So it was a family thing. And then when I was 5, my parents decided that it was okay for me to start playing some classical violin, and then just kind of everything spiraled from there.
Okay, so it's just kind of always been around, always musical.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so earlier this year was really exciting. You released your very first album called Head Hands.
Yes.
What was that process like, making an album? And you wrote it too.
Yes. Yeah. We pretty much did. We had our hands in everything. So so my wife did all the artwork. I did all the writing either on my own or with a couple other people, but I had my hands in all of that. All the music was done by me and my drummer, and that's it. Yeah, so it was a process, to be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of learning. Doing an independent record kind of all on your own was quite a learning curve, but we had so much great help along the way, you know, getting involved with Story Hive when we did our music video, got some awesome funding there, and that kind of launched us into working with the Banff Center for the recording side. And yeah, and like guys at OCL in Calgary getting us started with the first single, like just everybody's been so helpful and willing to work with us along the way. So got to learn from a lot of good people at the same time.
That's awesome. And so now that the record is out there, how has that been like?
It's been really cool. We just heard from a station in Toronto, one of the college stations that started playing us just kind of out of the blue. You know, you just shoot stuff out there and hope that somebody picks it up, and people are starting to. So it's been great. And obviously everybody around here, you know, all the local radio stations have been absolutely fantastic to us. Yeah, so we got some great features. Then we went out and we did a little bit of a tour, kind of a few core spots through Alberta that I kind of had a grounding in and that were important to me to get the record out to, and played a bunch of shows and had just a super fun time. Played hard shows, played fantastic shows. Again, learned so much. This has been a really great learning summer.
That's really cool. And so, for someone who hasn't heard your music, how would you describe your sound?
The quandary we're always faced with.
Yeah.
We very much had this in the studio too. We were just talking to each other and like, man, what does this sound like? We don't know.
You have a variety of a little bit of everything on the album.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of different influences. The easiest catch-all is like indie rock or indie electronic rock, like that kind of thing. It's really hard to say. There's some real pop sensibilities in there. There's some like just way out there. Indie is the only word you could use kind of sound. So somewhere in that realm, you'll find something. If you like anything in that kind of zone, you'll find something that you might like.
I feel like there's something for everyone with your music.
There is. I hope so anyway.
So speaking of your music and shows, you have one coming up next Friday at the Root here in town. So how can people get tickets? And
people can currently get tickets right now on Eventbrite. It's also on Facebook. I'm pretty sure it's just facebook.com/Sam Lundell. Any of those links to any of the socials, that kind of stuff, you can go to my website. But yeah, tickets are cheaper now if you get them beforehand. I'm pretty sure they're $12.50, and then they'll be $15 at the door if there's any left. And yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, next Friday, November 2nd.
All right. Well, make sure you get your tickets to support local artist Sam Lundell. I want to thank you so much for coming here, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you again.
Hey, what's going on? It's Pete Jackson from Boom 95.3, and here's what's happening in Cold Lake this weekend. And tomorrow, over at the Tri-City Mall in Cold Lake, Boom 95.3 has teamed up with the Tri-City Mall to bring you Halloween Howl. This event is going to be happening from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the mall. There's going to be tons of different activities and crafts and games for the whole family to come out and enjoy. Encourage everybody to dress in their Halloween costume and take part in this. There's going to be sparkle tattoos. There's going to be the balloon chick there. And Brent Burton Photography is going to be on hand taking photos of your family for Halloween. As well, there's going to be trick-or-treating inside the Tri-City Mall with the great merchants inside of the mall, so you can go check that out. Again, tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tri-City Mall. Another thing we want to tell you about happening right here on Boom 95.3, new contest we've started called Free Gas Fridays. It's your opportunity to win a little bit of free gas. Every single Friday, we make a draw where we hook someone up with a $100 gift card from the Lakeland Co-op Gas Bar in Bonnyville.
and we'll give them a little bit of free gas. So what you got to do is enter in at some of our sponsor locations. They include the Bonnyville Neighborhood Inn, Lake City GM, the Lakeland Credit Union in Bonnyville, and the Lakeland Co-op Gas Bar. Enter in there and you'll have a chance at winning some free gas on Fridays. If you have an event you want featured on What's Happening, shoot me an email, p@boom953.ca.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back in studio with John to chat the Halloween spirit in terms of cinema. And we're definitely switching genres now, something we have not talked about yet on this program, and that's found footage movies. Now you need to explain the appeal, because I'm very easily scared. This is a genre that's never scared me. So you'll explain maybe briefly what the dynamic is of found footage that's so attractive, because it's been huge over the past 15 years.
Yeah, it comes and goes. Certainly, really the first of that genre that was notorious was Cannibal Holocaust, which was 1980. And that was certainly a film that was very controversial, still is. And that was sort of a found footage. True found footage almost is really low budget, and I think those are the most effective ones. When you try to put too much of a budget, you lose some of that effect, because found footage really should feel authentic. And if you do sort of basic camera techniques and very low budget, it tends to catch that atmosphere more so. So for particularly the Blair Witch Project, which came out in 1999, really did a great job of that. The marketing was phenomenal, so much so that the advertising even would have pictures of these people like they were missing. So very clever marketing that made that film work, and I still think it's really spooky. But for me, when I watch a film like that, it's putting myself in that scenario. So if I was camping and I was lost and I was hearing weird noises outside of my tent, that would terrify me. And I think that if you watch it from that perspective, it can be a really scary viewing experience.
Yeah, and that's certainly a movie that came out at the right time, before the huge surge of the internet, where people can look up footage and look up spoilers. And back then there were people who actually thought it was, based on true story or actual footage.
Absolutely.
And then it obviously laid the groundwork for films like Wreck, which is actually a Spanish film?
That's correct, yeah. So it is a Spanish film, and it was made about 2007 and didn't really, 2005, but kind of North American release around 2007. Very intense, kind of a zombie feel to it, kind of a possession type near the ending. Very claustrophobic. It all takes place in an apartment complex. It's a news anchor that's following firemen that end up in this building that gets quarantined. The premise is similar because it was actually remade in America as Quarantine, which is far less popular.
Yes.
It's a tense little one, so much so that I actually forgot a scene in it last night when I was watching it, and it actually made me jump and scream out loud. And that last 10 minutes is, it sticks with you.
Yeah, and the most popular, of course, of this genre in terms of overall success around the world is the Paranormal Activity series.
Yes.
I think 6 films now.
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, and that first film, obviously, I think $1 million budget or less, and it made around $100 million.
Yeah, it was actually about a $60,000 budget, so really low key. And again, just 2 actors in a very small set. Again, if you watch these films and think about, geez, if I was in that scenario, that would terrify me. And I think that's how I watch it, is I get really involved in that and think, in a situation. Whereas, a zombie film or a slasher film suspends so much of the reality of it that it's not always that frightening. Like, some of the imagery can be bothering, but sometimes the found footage, if done right, can really stick with you.
Yeah, and it certainly did stick with you, but stuck with many audiences around the world. And we'll have one more one-on-one to chat about the rest of your filmography. We'll see if Johnny can catch up by next week, and we'll go back to more on this show later.
That's a wrap for us here at City Hall. Poppy Week is on now until November 11th, and those poppies are out in the community. You can find them at various locations and at businesses. The Poppy Campaign is one of the largest fundraisers for the Royal Canadian Legion, and last year in Lloydminster, 60,000 poppies went out. So do wear your poppies with pride. I know I need to get mine. I'm going to be going straight after tonight to make sure that I pick up a couple to put on all of my jackets. Now, remember, on Monday, please make sure you tune in to our newscast, as we are going to be out in Wainwright showing you some information from the haunted house that's out there to get you in the Halloween spirit. Unfortunately, we're out of time and we're going to have to head back over to the studio, but I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much, Brittany. Looking to our 7-day forecast here. Averages are 8 degrees, and we are going to see more of those numbers and even below that average starting next week. So 10 degrees tomorrow. We could see some precipitation around midnight tonight into the overnight, and then reaching 10 degrees tomorrow. And then we could see some rain-snow mix again, and that would be Sunday evening. So 50% chance there. Daytime high of 6 degrees, -3 for the low. Monday, this is when we're starting to really cool off. So 4 degrees only for the high, 25% chance there. And then Tuesday, 4 degrees as well. Even cooler for Halloween on Wednesday, 3 degrees, but no snow, thankfully. 60% chance of some flurry activity on Thursday, a high of only 2 degrees, and then 56% chance we could see a rain-snow mix next Friday with a daytime high of only 2 degrees. But we could still see a snowless Halloween, which would be very nice.
Take that as the positive.
Exactly,
then.
exactly. All right, well, we have reached the end of our show, which means we are going to announce this week's pet of the, I guess, the week winner. And drum roll, please. This week's winner is...
Who is it?
It is Gus.
Oh, Gus.
One of my favorite photos from the week. Jackie, Gus is going to get all the treats from Pet Pad. So, Jackie, you are the winner of this week's $50 gift card to Lloydminster's Pet Pad. Very exciting. So, congratulations to you. But if you do have a pet and you would like to see them here, and you want to win a gift card to give your good boy or good girl treats, you can send those photos in all the time. We accept them on all of our social media platforms or through email. Just include their name, and then if you do see them here, you will be entered for a draw, and we make that draw at random every Friday. So what a great start to the weekend.
Yeah, Gus is going to have a great weekend.
Gus is going to have a great weekend. Maybe he could get a Halloween costume.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. All right, well, if Gus gets a Halloween costume, send us a picture. All right, we'll leave it there, everyone. Happy weekend. We'll see you on Monday.